to the show. Our three questions that
with Sugar Fix in Chicago with Dr. Jessica Emery. So thank you so much for jumping on.
I mean, I'm still gonna work on it, but yeah.
Then right away, as soon as that first thing comes out, they sign up for it.
I'm very pleased to introduce you today to the co-founders behind Toothbar, an independent practice owned by Dr. Kimberley Barclay and Dr. Lauren Jacobson, a boutique dental practice in the heart of downtown Austin. I now would like to share with you their background in dentistry. Dr. Kimberley Barclay, D.M.D, is a lifelong learner. She is actively involved in local and national dental societies, including the Capital Area Dental Society and Sphere education courses on cosmetic dentistry. Dr. Barkley is an active member of the Seattle Study Club, recognized as one of the most advanced continuing education groups for dental professionals in the nation. She is currently working on acquiring her fellowship through the Academy of General Dentistry. Her educational background: Midwestern University College of Dental Medicine, Doctorate in Dental Medicine, Baylor University, Bachelor of Science in Biology and Forensic Science. Now on to Dr. Lauren Jacobson's background. Having suffered from dental trauma as a child, Dr. Lauren Jacobson is committed to providing exceptional dental care in a gentle, anxiety-free manner. She has a passion for implementing and offering state-of-the-art technology to allow for better treatment outcomes, making patients happier and healthier. Dr. Lauren Jacobson is an active member of the dental community and engages in further education and training through membership with a local chapter of the Study Club of Seattle and Sphere education courses. She is currently acquiring her fellowship through the Academy of General Dentistry. Dr. Jacobson's education is from Midwestern University College of Dental Medicine, getting her doctorate in dental medicine, and the University of Arizona, getting her bachelor's of science in physiology. It is now my pleasure to bring you into the interview with Dr. Kimberly Barclay and Dr. Lauren Jacobson in the Dental Tech Chat podcast.
Hello and welcome to Dental Tech Chat. I'm your host, Allie, and today I have two very special guests with me, the co-founders behind Toothbar. They are the independent practice owners, Dr. Kimberly Barclay and Dr. Lauren Jacobson. They own a boutique dental practice in the heart of downtown Austin. I'm so glad to have both of you ladies here with me on Dental Tech Chat, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
We're so excited.
Yes, how have you guys been? How's everything been going since reopening in Austin? Tell me a little bit about the journey of getting Toothbar open and everything how opening gradually has been going.
Yeah, it's been good. We started. We opened up about 3 years ago, and so with COVID and everything, it secretly actually ended up being kind of a blessing. Our patients were great about it. I think because they had nothing else to do, so they were super excited to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
So for us, people usually dread coming to see us, but COVID made us really popular, which is great.
It was
that is very helpful.
Yeah.
It was their one outing for the month or year. So they really enjoyed hanging out with us. But we had to close for about 2 months last year. It's been about a year since then. But fortunately, I think dentists were pretty well prepared for all this. We had to add a couple of things in, but like Dr. Barkley was saying, our patients have been awesome and totally trust us, and our staff has been incredible. So we've been really blessed with everything. Yeah. We're celebrating our 3-year anniversary in 2 weeks too. So which is crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's crazy how it goes from being a little baby to now a toddler full up and running, and you put all of your pride and joy into it. So I'm so happy for you ladies. And did you guys just get awarded from the ADA on getting an award from them on having one of the most for the aesthetic and the layout of your guys' new building as well for Toothbar?
We actually, it was really awesome. We actually won the ADA Design Innovation Awards, which was for best new practice, which was incredible. And it was really cool to just have that reflection of. So myself and Dr. Jacobson, we've known each other for way too long.
Forever.
We actually met our first year
Yeah.
and became best friends in dental school. We went to Midwestern University in Arizona and just kind of moved to Texas, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years ago. Came here for South by Southwest just for fun and fell in love with the city. So.
And we were working in a corporate practice for a while, and then we decided, you know what, we can do this ourselves. We had an idea that we really wanted, so we're we couldn't find a location that we wanted to buy, so we're let's do it from scratch. And so we were able to kind of come with all of our ideas and just create it from the ground up. So
we got super lucky, and it's a big honor to get that award because we didn't hire an interior designer either, and so Of course, we had such a great support system with everyone helping us, but we kind of picked out like every tile ourselves and really worked the design. So to get that award was pretty awesome. Yeah, we loved it.
Yes. I mean, congratulations. That is a huge award. And like you guys said, I mean, you didn't have anyone else's really like your help. Like you guys were using your own creativity, your own input, and maybe thinking of those ideas, you know, of course, having a little bit of help, right? But I mean, that has got to be so fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It takes a team to make the dream work, you know. You gotta have the vision and the passion behind it. And like, that's gotta be so, like, I mean, unbelievable and wildest dream, like to come to life and have your own building now. I mean, your guys' building is beautiful.
Thank you.
I look
Yeah.
at your guys' Instagram and your about videos, and you guys do a great job of showcasing your guys' really pretty, beautiful office.
Yeah.
Yeah, our dental reps were amazing. They're the ones that kind of helped us with
Big
building,
time.
you know, we wanted to combine dentistry, but we also wanted to combine the idea of, you know, what you get when you go into like a hotel and how it feels nice and interactive and loungy. So
Yes.
they're like, we'll do the research on the hotels. You guys do the dental part.
Yeah.
Yes. You're
Yeah.
really giving me, like I was gonna say, kind of wanted to jump me into the first question I wanted to ask you guys about the practice really was, where did the passion like derive from for both of you ladies, like into dentistry, like you said? So you guys have been friends for several years. You guys have been doing this for a really long time now, like you said. So just kind of wanted to hear the passion of what drove you to open like your very own practice. Like you said, you couldn't find the building. So where does the passion come from?
Well, we say this a lot, but honestly, we chose these careers for a different reason. But as we were practicing together at a corporate office for 4 years, I think we just kind of got down on hearing, oh, you're great, but we hate coming to the dentist. So we're just, this is annoying. We are dentists. We really want to be providing the best care, but also have fun. And everyone likes when people like yourselves or anybody. So we're like, let's kind of change this up a little bit and actually have people want to come see us and hang out. And being in a downtown area too, it just attracts such an amazing group of patients. We used to live downtown too, so it's just a whole different feel. When we would go to the grocery store, we would run into them and they would scream, "Hey, Dr. J, I'm wearing my Invisalign." And I'm like, "Yay, good for you." I never thought that I would be running into a patient at the grocery store having just a casual conversation, and we love that, and we've just embraced it. And that's kind of how we developed Toothbar too. We wanted that type of relationship with our patients. So the whole culture just kind of welcomes it.
I was gonna say, you guys really have a great culture that you guys have built already at Toothbar in these 3 years. I mean, your guys' reviews are coming in, they're really nice. And I think, like you said, that atmosphere where you kind of make them feel at home in your office. I think that's a big personal touch that I think a lot of dentists are now trying to implement. Like you said, people don't like to go. And I think getting that, you know, debunking that, like kind of that fear and that anxiety as they walk through the door.
Yeah.
I think that's like what you guys did was so beautiful. And like, I think that's why I wanted you on here today to maybe explain a little bit of key pieces of not only the tech talk, once we'll get into that, but I really wanted to hear like your guys' side of the few things you implemented to make that relaxation happen at Toothbar that I know is very welcoming. So I've seen a little bit like the Netflix and the headphones on some pictures, but is there anything else you could let our listeners know other than Austin area to come see you guys?
Yeah, ours, yeah, again, we kind of built it exactly what Jay said on that premise of we just wanted to change that perception and kind of get rid of the awkward white coat syndrome that people have, and like how do we do that? And so we built the practice around the idea of the patient. So when you walk in, we wanted everything to be seamless, feel really open. It was important that we have, you know, views so they just don't feel like they're at the dentist's office and
like claustrophobic or anything.
Yeah. And we're big on our staff, just everyone knowing who they are. You know, when a patient walks in, you don't say like, "What's your name?" You have a photo of them, you know who they are, you greet them with their name, just little subtle things that, you know, show, you know, how much you care and that this isn't meant to be like a horrible torture experience.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Trying to make it as personalized as possible. I know we kind of touched upon how we did our research at hotels while our dental reps were doing more dental focused. We also took into a lot of startups. Like we knew like Uber, you could do a preset where you like the car cold, you don't like to talk. We really have, our staff is incredible and makes really, really diligent notes to be like, we know that she needs nitrous, needs to be in this particular room because it doesn't have too many windows. And she always wants a blanket, no matter if it's 120 degrees outside, we got to get her a blanket. So just having that personalization is really, really key. And our staff is incredible. And most of it, like with emotional intelligence, we didn't have to train them. we're
That's
all
very
people
nice.
here. So
Mhm.
they really, really pride themselves on making their patients extra comfortable and like going that extra mile. So we're super lucky in that way too.
We're really glad to hear that's how it's going at your guys' practice, and making it more like a human experience. It's not just a number, and having these really great connections and feeling comfortable is like the best thing to make your patients want to come back.
Yeah.
If they liked the experience, they'll remember when something was comforting. They'll remember that personalization factor. I know me for anything, you like that loyalty program. You like when you walk into your local coffee shop and they know your name and they know your order. And when you come to the dentist, you like a certain hygienist that you've been coming to see for a few years, and you build that relationship also with the dentist. And I think what you guys are doing there with that personalization factor is, I think, what has been really interesting. I want to talk about that you guys already brought up, because a lot of dentists are learning that personalization factor is what sets you apart. Because everyone can post their work, everyone can post the same things, but really telling your story. And I feel like that's what Toothbar, you guys are about. And also, I know more practices are bringing it on, but you're absolutely right, Dr. Lauren. Like, I agree with you that you have to have those personalization factors. And I'm glad that your guys' office is offering that for your guys' patients.
Yeah. And we want to do it. I mean, again,
Yes.
our patients are just incredible coming from, well, before COVID, we had people flying in from all over the world to come see us. So, and we just say hang out. So it's been really cool.
I was going to ask you both before I go into the tech talk, what's each of your guys' personal favorite thing you do in the practice? So, like, is it like you're going to be restorative, you're cosmetic? Like, you guys each kind of have maybe something you like to do other than the other thing. I would love to hear each of you guys kind of break that down, and then I'd love to ask you some technology questions.
Yeah. I think as we've progressed, I mean, when we worked together back in corporate office, I think mine was more extractions and yours was more root canals.
Oh, that's not my thing. But yeah,
Okay.
To be.
yeah,
But now it's
Invisalign
totally
definitely, like,
changed.
our bread and butter. It's what we
Mhm.
love. We became Invisalign actually diamond providers this year, which was
Mhm.
awesome. Really excited. That's kind of
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
I love it.
and it's
Hard
just
work paying off.
yeah, we have
Mhm.
such a great. The cool thing about Austin is just the dentists here. Everyone's just really united, and we have
Mhm.
it's called Austin Clear Aligner Society, which is again just for all orthodontists and dentists, and we all chat and talk about expectations and cases. And so it's Invisalign's a huge thing that we love.
Yeah.
Cosmetics really big. Veneers is one of my favorites just because again patients are so excited about it, and things you can do with them now, and with laser, that's
Yeah.
another one that we love. It's just little subtle things that make such a big difference for people.
Mhm. Yeah, the laser, I guess we're getting into products a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
after a case, with removing the gum tissue just slightly with one, you can position a tooth to where it's in alignment, but still front and center, their smile was a little bit off. So probably about a little less than a year ago, we incorporated the laser, and it's a game changer. I think we kind of
Excited for you
fight
guys to talk
for
about
it a little bit. Yeah, that's
that's
one of
awesome.
the most exciting things we've got going on right now.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think transformation there is really key with the technology, like you're saying. So that'll jump me right into for you guys. You can go into some of the questions I have about your guys' tech, which would be really great. So my first one is the diamond in the rough. So this can be a product that you guys bought that no one else seems to really know about. That's been a major advantage. So again, you guys were kind of telling me about this laser. Is this kind of that product for you, or is there a different one you'd like to start off with?
We have kind of a ton of stuff that we love.
Yeah.
One thing that we we're in Austin,
Mhm.
so obviously everyone here is very tech savvy. So we love like.
Great.
I mean, this is kind of more of, I guess, not really products, it's more messaging, but for how our office runs, we use Slack Messenger. That's been a big changer. We use Open Dental for our software. So the problem with that is we haven't loved the messenger system they have on that.
Mhm.
So using Slack has kind of changed definitely so much of our
Big
practice,
time.
and it allows us to have when a patient checks in, you can message that they're ready from everything from channels, that we can organize things better. Which is great for the staff. We have insurance channels, and it's a really good way of incorporating things that aren't dental products or dental things into a dental office, which I think is something that we really enjoy a lot.
Yeah, it just helped us. I mean, communication is key in every aspect of life, but the way that we're able to run so smoothly. I think like last week, Dr. Barkley was talking about how if a patient's in the room, behind them, we're like a duck with our feet going, and all of a sudden a little fairy just makes everything go smoothly. The patient should have no idea about anything. And Slack is what really has kind of allowed us to go about just having everything runs smooth and the patient doesn't have any concerns or worries about the little stuff. Like we're taking care of all of that. But one thing that I'm talking to a Slack person right now. We bought all of our staff members an iWatch. And so we're trying to figure out ways to incorporate open dental that when someone checks in, they can get an alert on their iWatch and just make it, again, as seamless as possible, and just everything flows. And we really value time efficiency and just efficiencies in general. And so Slack's really helped us kind of elevate that in our practice and make sure that everyone's staying on time and knows exactly what's going on in every room that they need to know what's going on.
And we always say we want people to think things just magically happen. Like when the front desk, when the patient's being walked up to the front, I want the front desk to know exactly what happened, to know their name, and just for the patient, how on earth do you know that? So we just want it to feel like it's just working. And versus headsets, we used to have that back in the day and they were awful. Like the worst.
Yeah.
So I
can't concentrate. You're trying to say something to like somebody and then someone's trying to talk in your ear with a remark and it's like, how do you keep up? I don't blame you from changing.
iWatch is definitely on there. And then we have a ton of dental products that we love, I think.
Let's see, one of the ones that even in some of our study clubs that we'll talk about, we learned from the clear aligners is Icon. So it's a minimally invasive infiltration that you can use on cavities that are really small in the posterior teeth. They use it a lot with kids, but they also found that it can get rid of white spots, which is awesome. So fluorosis, or after you get your braces off, some people have that white little line around it. So we're like, oh my gosh, you got your braces off. And they'll point immediately to their front teeth and be like, yeah, I'm really happy, but I'm kind of annoyed at this. We're like, well, no worries, we've got this. So that has been something that we've incorporated probably over 4 or 5 years ago. And that's a big game changer. We try not to take a drill to the tooth if we don't have to.
Exactly, right.
So that's really opened up the doors for us, getting rid of those little imperfections. That's been good.
And we have obviously Toothbar, which is our dental practice. We have one little part of it that we call the Toothbar Lounge. And what the premise of that is, just we wanted an area where we noticed, like in every other, basically any other profession, there's always, if you go into facials and things like that, there's always, the part that you like about it, like dermatology, and then there's also facialists. So we're like, how do we incorporate dentistry? And so that's what our lounge is. So we call it all the fun parts of going to the dentist without feeling like you're at the dentist. So for us, that's like express cleaning, which is basically where someone in between their 6-month cleanings, if they want to come in for a quick polish and floss, they can. It's not insurance. It's just, $45 just to get your teeth a quick mini cleaning. We say it's not a real cleaning, it's just a polish. So that's kind of, with that, we have like the wireless polishers that help a ton with that, just to get everything staining. We also do express whitenings in there. That's also where we do exactly what Dr. J was talking about, Icon white spot treatment. We train our staff to look at people's teeth. Obviously, if you see a little white spot, tell the patient, it's going to get brighter with a whitening. We have this really cool stuff. It's almost like a lotion that we put on your tooth. It takes 10 minutes. That can get rid of that white spot. So I think, especially just figuring out little things that really just elevate the patient experience that are non-invasive are really important. We also do courses on TMJ, botulinum, just to help with cleansing. So there's a lot of really cool avenues that, dentistry can get into that's more specific for things. Which is what we kind of really love.
I just want to say, you guys really take it to the extra mile, like giving every little kind of like nook and cranny service that, you wouldn't really thought you'd get at the dentist. Now you're offering that. That's really amazing. Like that little, like the white spot, that has been major, especially with people getting their braces off. They're like, they don't even realize that can like be afterwards. And they're like, oh, how is this going to even like, people are afraid that's probably going to need a drill or invasive. And then that you guys can offer that 10-minute treatment. That's amazing. Was that hard to implement in the practice, or is it just something like someone can just like, is it a subscription type of thing? How can dentists implement that if they were looking into that?
Yeah, I think just training your staff to just like check it out. If someone's coming for a tooth whitening, just mentioning it to the patient. We have a little menu of services that we offer to the patients that says exactly those questions, and on our patient paperwork it does too. Like, do you see white spots? Just things like that. It just makes it a little bit easier, and people inquire about it. We'll have our menu that has the prices for whitenings, but then it also has additional services like gum contouring and things like that, just so that way the person asks about it and they're sitting there thinking about it. That's been really helpful. It was funny for South by Southwest a few years ago. We were like, oh, let's do, and South by in Austin's a really fun time downtown. where people like come and we're like, what can we do that's cool? We're like, you know what? We're gonna start this thing. It's gonna be tooth gems. Like the
Oh,
weird
wow.
our thought was in the same way, you know, like with Invisalign trays and stuff, how back
Right.
people like having rubber bands on their braces.
Different
Like,
colored rubber bands. We're
we'll
like,
put these,
yeah,
like,
we'll
teeth
gem it
gems.
up. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was like literally like the things you put on your nails. We're like, we'll just do it for like, just for South by. And so we had a lot of patients that did it, which is a little weird.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool.
So, you know, I
They
wouldn't
loved
say
it.
that's something that people should do, but it was fun.
To go on Dr. Barclay's point with the menus, just allowing patients to have different avenues to bring stuff up. Because a lot of people are coming to the office that they're fearful or ashamed about like of certain things. So allowing them to feel comfortable and talk openly about it. Our staff, again, is so amazing and will kind of probe people into like, hey, have you noticed this? You're about to get a whitening. That white spot may come out a little bit more. If you hate it, there are different ways to do it. If not, we'll totally monitor it and no big deal. So just like no pressure, but always talking about what you see, because they don't know the proper like diagnoses or anything like that, but training them just to talk about what they see and probing patients for questioning and stuff like that.
And getting rid of that embarrassment factor.
Yeah.
A lot of patients aren't going to come in and say, hey, I noticed my breath smells. You know, that's an awkward thing that they don't want to bring up.
Right.
They're really hoping that you'll just somehow say it to them.
So
So
have a solution too.
The
Yeah,
menu,
have an option.
yeah, the menu's a nice way to get through that. We have on there too. We have, you know, cold sore removal, you know, $35.
Oh, yes.
Laser. So things that people can just like look at and be like, oh yeah, I'll get that done. And again, the same thing with the cleaning. We have, you know, like the extra detox, or we call it the gingival cleaning, which is for patients. And we'll write on there like, oh, you want your breath to be even fresher. Just like an easy way for them to be able to bring it up and not be embarrassed is really important too. Because I know a lot of people avoid the dentist just for that. So that's kind of, we want it to be shame-free experience.
I was gonna say, you guys really help with maybe like those like personal insecurities like no one really wants to bring up, especially like you're kind of coming in, you're like, oh, I get cold sores a lot, or oh, like, you know, especially if you like you wear braces or a retainer a lot, you kind of do get worried about the bad breath, and like you're not sure even there is an option for that. But having that menu is actually probably a really great idea because it's a door opener. It's kind of that icebreaker moment, you know, for your patients. So I think that's really an amazing tool that you guys are improvising to also showcase what you're offering in your guys' practice. So I'm definitely going to put that down for here on our little link in our bio. A lot of dentists, if you guys are listening, this is a really great tip. Having a menu, icebreaker moment, you know, they can know what you're offering.
And they can bring it up, make it less awkward.
Yes, that's the thing. Is like you said, some people are really shameful and they're embarrassed to have that conversation, but what's nice too is a woman to woman, it's kind of nice, but like sometimes, you know, there's a man, it's not a problem, but like it's easier to, even if you have that menu, then they can also just be more open to it. It's an idea of not knowing, or they're like, I don't even know like what that would be, you know, like you said, the gum. Like I'm excited for you guys to tell me a little bit about that. Maybe that's going to be the next one, I'm hoping, and I would love to have you break it down. So no risk, no reward is my second question. And this can be a big investment of time and money and technology that paid off in your guys' practice.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, we're 1% diamond providers in Invisalign, which is awesome. We do a ton of Invisalign here. Everyone's really benefited, even if we're just fixing one tooth to their bite completely. We believe in that product immensely. It's great. So what we did when we opened up the practice, people thought we were a little crazy, but we went straight into within like 3 or 4 months purchasing 2 iTeros.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, so it is quite an investment, but we knew with the way that we use it, not only with restorative, but our hygienists grab it all the time just to show where recession, you can do the overlaps of where your teeth were about 6 months ago to where they are now. Because a lot of people don't. I'm like, oh, do you find yourself grinding? They're like, absolutely not. And then I look in their mouth, I'm like, you're losing.
Notice.
So, yeah. So just facts, and just again, it's similar to a menu. You have a big screen, you have a photo, it's interactive. You can have the patient look at it and kind of move it around and be like, oh my gosh, these are my teeth. I'm like, yep. So what do you see? What do we see? What do you want to change? What can we change? Because there's the simulator. So after we scan their teeth, you can see exactly with the quick algorithm, what Invisalign thinks we want to do. One thing that we've really started incorporating that has been a benefit for us that used to be a negative, I think that a lot of doctors talk about, is that with the quick algorithm simulation of what you can see. Sometimes they give you a little, I don't know, not so great simulation or show of what Invisalign could do. And a lot of doctors were like, don't show your patient, hide it from them, or just, it's not going to be a good selling point. For us, we've turned that around and said, this is why you need us to be overseeing your case, because look what a computer just did. We would want to tweak this and this and move this tooth a little bit more. So,
and then we show them in front of them, we show them like how we're doing that. Like, so we would do IPR here and then explain to them what that is. So I think that's a really cool avenue of explaining, because people say a lot, you know, why are you more expensive at Invisalign than this person? Is it just Invisalign? And you know, you're paying for the expertise. Like, it isn't just AI. It's not just a computer. There's a human component. You have to do a ton of cases to know what happens and what doesesn't happen.
What will work and what won't work.
Magically extruding canines in 10 trays. It's like, that's great, but there's not a fairy doing that. So it's not going to happen. But it's cute that Invisalign thinks it will happen, but it won't. And so having that definitely is super beneficial for sure.
So iTero has been by far the best investment that we've made with our product purchases, for sure.
And we have a lot of kind of like random, I think, things that we also really love. When we built the office, we built it knowing that we're going to make a big investment in the beginning. And for that, it means patient-wise, absolutely technology. But I think the thing people forget about too is the provider-wise. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to attract a really amazing staff, people that are, you know, our patients sit in the chair for maybe 60 minutes a day. Our providers are in those for 10 hours a day. So what's something that we can invest in as, you know, owners to make sure that our providers are comfortable and they have the best of their tools. So big investment on our part is we went with all ADEC cabinets, all ADEC sterile. It was a lot more than, obviously we could have gone with, you know, IKEA cabinets or something, could be cool. But for us, we wanted something that the providers would like love. And so, you know, the way that ADEC's built, it's great. It's, you know, you can reach, everything makes sense. They've thought out everything from where the trash can is to where the drawers are. It's just really thought out. So it's worth it. It looks scary to, you know, as a new practice to make that investment, but in the long run, it's so worth it. If that's kind of what you're looking for. And same thing we wanted for our hygienists, for example, in our last practice, our Cavitrons, you know, we're on the side, you had to kind of like pull it out every time you're cleaning. So now with the ADEC Continental, it's built within the chair. It's in that delivery system. They never have to, it just looks clean and nice for the patient too, which we really like.
Same with, we have nomads. It's better, it's safer for the staff and the patients, but mainly the staff not having to pull that arm out. And and then it allows for us to have TVs brought overhead for the patients so that they have that comfort as well. So it's a win-win for everybody.
When we were building the practice, it was funny because we're like, where they were sketching it out for us, and they're like, okay, so here's where you guys are putting your X-ray heads, and we're like, ooh, yeah, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
Like, you can't not have any. We're like, we're not going to have any. So that was a big thing, is we don't have any X-ray units. We just have nomads in the office. So in the beginning, it definitely is a learning curve. You know, the hygienist was super excited about the idea of using a nomad all day, every day. So now they can't think of anything else. But the nice thing that allowed for us to do is we could make our operatories a little bit bigger. And that's kind of a conversation we had with them, is like, do you want a bigger operatory that you're going to be more comfortable in? You're not going to have this like big chunky head, you know, that's in the wall. So it was kind of a give and take. And it's definitely something you have to, there's a little bit of pushback, but now
convincing. But it worked out in the end, which is good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all like great points, like you guys said. I mean, there are so many pieces that add just so much value to the practice that are just, you just oversee and overlook. Like you guys are just saying the organization of like, could you say the name for your guys' cabinetry again that you guys just had ordered?
ADEC.
Yeah, ADEC. So like that layout, like just that added value of layout, and how it's so time saving to have the right drawer and the right placement. Placement is key. And like you even explaining how to use like the amount of room at the highest efficiency to have your workflow run seamlessly. That was very, very like applauding you guys, because sometimes the older offices, it's crazy how you can just save minutes with just having proper placement. And those minutes add up, and you know, each day adds up into hours and it adds up into time. And it's like your workflow just slows down when things aren't properly organized and properly placed.
That's so true.
And it just
so the added value there.
Yeah, you're so right. And that's the same thing with our sterilization. We did the ADEC sterilization, which again was more than we wanted to intend to spend, but it's so worth it. They thought it out just so well. I mean, they're a dental company, is what they do. And just from,
Exactly.
red is dirty, blue is clean. It's just, it's so
Oh,
universal.
that's nice.
And it's just, when we have staff coming in,
Simple.
there's just, you already have so much going on in your head. You don't need to additionally be thinking like, oh, is this, the correct thing? So just, they made it seamless, and it looks good for the patient too. They know it's clean. It looks good to them, and we don't hide it from them. We show them. So it's, it's definitely worth the investment. It's scary, but worth it. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good key points on the no risk, no reward for us. You guys covered really great things. The iTero, you guys we talked about
ADEC.
Yeah, AD, so ADEC. Then log them down there, and then also the amazing, I think, the nomads are great for x-ray system, even though it is a little bit of a learning curve. Again, that also is really great when you start learning your positionings. It's like the back of your hand with anything. I mean, with all technology, if you practice it, you'll get it down, and then it's the advantage point if you just got to practice it when you implement anything.
That's so right. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And this wants to bring me to my number 3, which is the flop. So this could be anything in your guys' office that you guys bought into that might have been a waste of time and money. So if there was anything like this.
A couple of those. One of the ones that was probably live and learn. Most of
Yes.
we would always go into like hotels, and one of them specifically here in Austin, and it would just like when you walk in, it just smells so good, and you're like, this is amazing. So we're like, you know what, we need this for our office. So we asked the hotel, what is this? And it was this air aroma that was like this. You put it in the HVAC. It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It sets the place. The hotels smell amazing. It does all these amazing high-end hotels. We're like, all right, perfect. So it's very expensive to install, and then it was a monthly, also very expensive monthly fee.
Yes.
To install. We got it all installed. We're like, great, this is going to be awesome. Month 1, cannot smell a thing. I'm like, I feel like maybe it just takes a while before it kicks in. Month 2, we're still paying this absurd subscription to it. Nothing. And so we like went back and forth with them, contacting them, and it turns out, I guess it's just not, it doesn't work. Our ceilings are way too high. It just does not work for the practice. And if for it to work, it would just be about 10 times the price, and it was already atrociously expensive. So we're like, you know what? It's just not going to smell through the HVAC. So that was definitely a lesson. It took us like
some
a
things
year.
don't translate from hotel to dental practice.
Yeah.
That's what we
We're a giant corporation that can afford that much on scent.
Yeah.
So we switched to actually now what we use, which I really like, is Pura, which are really cool. They're plugins. You use, there's an app. We have them on our office iPads, which is cool. That tells you, the scent levels. You put what time of day it runs, and we just have those in all the.
Yeah, our associate got it for each of us for Christmas.
Yeah,
and we're like, perfect. We'll use this at the office too.
So
How
yeah,
amazing is that?
Yeah, throughout the office, and you can just control the levels. They have a subscription where you can order more. It's just like a really good way, and I think that's a good way to elevate a dental office too. You don't want to have that sterile dentist smell. You just have it when you walk in. The patient smells it, and then they think it's throughout the office. So just something to just like change their experience a little bit. And you can do custom scents, which is cool. So we have like our Toothbar.
I would have known that.
Yeah.
So what's your guys? Do you guys have a custom scent at Toothbar?
That's what we're figuring out now.
Working on it.
Oh, that's exciting.
That's
exciting.
So
what's kind of your favorite scents right now that you guys are playing with that they already have, like Pure just already has? Like, is there something you could like recommend to our dentists if they just don't have their own custom scent? Would there be a scent you'd recommend?
The cool thing about Pura is they're based on all of these like very big candle companies, like Apothecary, really good ones. They have that's one of my favorites, like a musk, and they also have Volcano, which is actually that candle you have. Some
it's more of like a clean smell.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of floral, like a clean floral is normally pretty good.
And the cool thing about Pura is every single one that they have on there are all just kind of the top basically candle companies. They have Labo and all of that. So it's not like yucky ones that you just find, from like a little plastic thing. So they're awesome.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's hard to choose which one we like.
I say Apothecary. I think I don't know how to pronounce it properly. It's like APOTEKE.
And that's floral?
No, it's more like like clean. Yeah, like
okay.
Clean. Yeah.
I like that. Yep. I'm always like into like the linen candles or cotton, like very like just airy smells that are just like, neutral too, because they don't want to be too overpowering, even though I would love like it to be like a garden. But again, like, you're in a dental office and you want, it just to feel clean. But again, people can get where they buy those really florally things and you're just like, are you really trying to cover something up? But it's really nice to hear that it's nice and fresh in the office.
Yeah. It was one of our flops. It turned into a full. I think I owned,
Our other one, we love intraoral cameras. We use them pretty much every diagnosis that we do. and we had invested in like 3 or 4 when we first opened. The ones that go into the Continental
Like
operators
each.
they're a little expensive.
Yes.
And then we're big on Nifty Thrifty Facebook page, following what they recommend, and we came across Mouthwatch. It's a really light, clean, really inexpensive intraoral camera that plugs right into your computer, has a long cord. We bought one for every operatory because they are so inexpensive, and the photos are perfect and beautiful.
That's
So
good to hear.
it's really easy for everyone now to just grab it, take a picture. Like all of our hygienists, if there's any pending treatment with a patient, they'll just take a photo for our records, and then it's also easy for us to talk to the patient about it because most people are visual learners, so just really easy for that. But yeah, investing in really expensive intraoral cameras, we kind of were kicking ourselves for that. But
And I think you live and learn. Like,
yeah,
just
live and learn.
Yes.
Yeah, just because things are expensive does not mean they're the best. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've learned that, and exactly what Jay said. The Facebook groups are so good. The dental
So
ones.
good.
It's
Yeah.
I love how
Yes.
active everyone is on there, and it's just it's great to see on there. And I know a ton of people use it.
Mhm.
But
The
yeah,
community.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see that and that's a difficult thing that we had when opening the practice is we completely changed everything. We got all brand new software, and so we've had this kind of hurdle of figuring out, which programs do you want? You're like, do I get Weave? Do I get Yappy? Do I get la?
Yeah,
There's
it's
just so
Right.
many
A
options.
lot of options.
Options, yeah. And trying to figure out what's best for you too.
Right.
We were just trying to do a whole different concept. So we have such a good community here, and being able to bounce ideas off other dentists. We're just you're like a one-man island person in every dental office. So just getting out and reaching out to your community, whether that's nationwide or locally, especially when you're starting a practice, really kind of seeing, you can do as much research as you can online, but you've got to see how then it translates and is implemented into your particular practice. So just always trying new things, but getting a lot of advice.
Really good, Pearl. I like that you offered that bit of learning, because I think a lot of dentists are scared, like they don't know if social media is like credible, but you got to know who you're talking to too. And then also then, like you said, outreach in your community who's local. Like you guys said, your study clubs, you're going to learn from other dentists and onboarding new things. And also the groups are great because you can learn about other dental reps, other dental manufacturers, and learn what other dentists are using and implementing. So yeah. And the intro camera was a very smart move on your guys' part. I think most dentists, it's so great, seeing is believing. They were going to get so much patient education out of an intro camera, and having that in each op makes it better, because then every hygienist has the opportunity to get you guys pictures to look at, so you can have a little image file for them. Mouthwatch, I'm hoping they do have that, because they have it where you can capture a little bit of images and save them to a patient file. So
Yeah. And that's the way that we built our practice. Actually, we did a little differently in that we made every single operatory identical. So that means there's no hygiene room, there's no restorative room. The hygienist doesn't get her favorite room. Every room is the same. And the purpose for us was, it's about the patient. So that means if they're coming in for cleaning and they decide they want to stay for their fillings, they're not going to move rooms. They're going to stay in their room. And so we also want it to be, no excuses from staff, meaning, yes, if you see something, take a photo of it. Don't say like, oh, well, they were using the intraoral, so I couldn't. Like, it's right there. Everyone has the same thing. You can do it. So I think having that ease of accessibility, and just like you said earlier, it's all about, efficiency. And when that streamline that process that makes sense, it's just like, it's fun. It's almost like a dance. You're like, this is working well. You have everything accessible. And so, yeah, and it gets very satisfying.
I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. And I'm glad that, because I think implementation of those things and having a workflow is where a lot of dentists run into issues. Like, if you don't understand how each thing is going to work together is when you run into trouble. So it's definitely that aspect, like you guys said. I'm glad that you kind of said, like, you weren't sure which softwares to look into. Well, hey, you got to go with those answers. Don't just jump in the first one you see, like, does it work for our practice? Because everyone is so different. But that's so interesting. I'm glad that you're saying that you guys have all the similar rooms with similar tools. Because that really helps with workflow tremendously, I'm sure. And the patients probably appreciate it too, because they're not having to get up or feel uncomfortable because they're already nervous. And then they can just onboard something too, like you said, right? So they could be in there for their whitening, and then you guys notice that spot. They can just sit there too. They have an opening for that day and add it. Or go to the lounge, they can just get up and then go to the lounge. I mean, that's great.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So this really brings me to, you guys have answered some amazing questions. When it comes to, I wanted to just ask, when you guys go to patient education, you guys said like you have your menus. So if you're a hygienist, I know like you guys already do such a great job with the communication piece, with the relationship. Would there be anything else you guys do to like help educate your patients on, or give any advice to new dentists implementing technology? Like, what's the advice you give to kind of educate patients on your technology that you offer as a dentist?
Yeah, we have kind of a couple little things that we do. One of them is, so each operatory we have iPads that are all linked, obviously the same iCloud. So on there we have, our consent forms like M consent, all of that, which is great. But we also have shared photo albums. So we have every procedure we do. So for example, gingivectomy. The cool thing is the doctors, we all have it on our phone, and we, obviously control the shared album. So as soon as we get a good before and after, we send it to the shared album. That way, when a patient's in the chair and they're, thinking about something, the staff can pull up and show them like real live photos.
Before
So
and after.
yeah, it's kind of like a modern, updated lookbook. We used to have back in the day a printed one, that you did like
Yes.
long ago.
Mhm.
And that was our big struggle, is that, we weren't good about keeping that updated. So like, what's something easy and seamless? And for us, iCloud share was really easy way to educate patients also on a lot of that stuff. And obviously like social media is a big way of just, we always encourage our staff to take like videos if a patient, obviously with their consent, if they're iTero, or if it's a really fun patient that, is more than happy to do it, just so that patients can see the experience and be like, oh, whoa, what is that? Like, I haven't seen that before. That's really cool. And I think nowadays, definitely, obviously Instagram's a big seller on that. People go to that when they do websites. So definitely keeping that updated with stories that are relevant. And we're not great at this, but
social media is a big thing. Another just kind of tidbit that we really do with our staff is we have them go through all of the procedures that we're offering our staff as much as possible. Like all of our staff members, well, most of them are going through Invisalign or going through the whitening, so that when someone's asking them about it, we're not just going to plop up a video. They're going to tell them about their experience that they went through, or even like showing them pre-mask and pre-COVID, but showing them the trays and how you can't see them. And so that's a really easy way in office to educate the patient. But social media has been key. We now have a social media director that has really kind of focused full time on this. And that's
very nice.
For
it's
us
a job sometimes.
Yeah.
I know we used to do it ourselves, and we're like, that's why it was like we have a
sparse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instagram account also, like Toothbar,
Toothbook.
It was just, a portfolio of before and after cases, and just another way to showcase it, just anything that they can see. And yeah, I mean, again, we always say like, we want the experience to be something that when the patient leaves and someone says, oh, hey, what did you do today? They don't just go like, oh, I went to the dentist. They say like, oh, I went to the dentist, and it's so cool. They don't take impressions. Remember that horrible stuff in your mouth? They have this really cool scanner. They just scan your teeth and they show it to you. Or,
or I was like dying laughing because
I was on laughing,
having a blast. Yeah.
So creating experiences that are memorable and like one thing that they remember from each thing that you're doing. So, I mean, especially lately for us, the gingivectomies have been huge. We have a lot of patients coming in just for that. Just because like my friend saw it and oh my gosh, I can't believe how big her teeth look. They look amazing.
It's an immediate change.
And we always send our patients, we try to send them the before and after photos right away at that appointment. Because, as soon as they go home and tell their friend, they're like, oh, I don't, your teeth look fine. What are you talking about? And like, no, this is what they looked like before. So super important. Photography obviously is one of the most important things, just showing exactly what you said, seeing is believing. So empowering the patient with that and sending that to them is super important.
Absolutely.
Photography is everything, like you guys are saying. I think that's really neat, like you said, to show off the cases and like have them like have that before and after, and that really is good because word of mouth. And that really great experience of having something else besides just being like, oh, I went to the dentist today, because you guys do have these offerings where it's like, it's going to change that experience. What else can they say than just I went to the dentist today? And that's the key phrase I'm going to leave a lot of us dentists, all of our listeners today, figuring out an office and a practice that makes gets you not feeling scared. You got a good fun relationship, you like to go, and it makes you have a good memory. So I think what you guys are implementing is definitely above and beyond experience, and it's taking it to the next level of actually being like you're saying, the hotel but spa boutique dental practice. Patient first is definitely number one, because I feel like you talk about yourself, or it's just you show off the work. The patient doesn't get it. You want it to be about them. You want to hear them, and that's what it's about.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're so right. It's so funny. Things are definitely appealing to dentists. It's like we always say, like, are you doing Instagram for other dentists or are you doing it for patients? And those are both super important facets, but you have to know what direction you are. And then, so exactly, that's why we had kind of the Toothbar Toothbook, which in our head was maybe going to be, you know,
More for dentists.
Yeah, more like factual. If a patient
Yeah.
wants to know what exactly is a veneer prep like, then they can see that. The cute thing they want to look at, which is, you know, a nice regular smile photo before and after. So
Exactly.
yeah, who your audience is and when it's appropriate for each, for sure.
Yeah, I think those 2 accounts are great because that's something I think a lot of practices are starting to learn. You can't just market just to the just like showing off dentists like just your case, because your patients don't understand that close up and like what happened. But it's like, okay, cool. So yellow, like they see a teeth whitening and they get it, but anything else, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's like a
like it doesn't promote the practice.
Yeah, and you're like, no, they did an amazing job, but yeah, they don't appreciate it.
Exactly. Yeah. So really having those like little 30-second clips. I think that you guys even started on your guys' channel. And I think if you guys keep instilling, because again, like you guys said, I understand enough that social media alone and the YouTubing alone is a lot of work. So getting that person to help you, I think a lot of dentists are learning, getting like the right person to help you know what your guys' goals are, understanding what your personality is, what you want to bring to your practice, like what cases do you guys enjoy to do. Let that be all your services. You just want to find a good social media person and finding the right connection.
Yeah, and it's good also to, I mean, for dentists to think also to like look honestly amongst their staff. There's the option, especially, you know, with us, some of, you know, your front office staff, like they could be incredible at that. And it is the cool thing of maybe if they're not in, maybe where they are now is not where they want to always be. And so kind of empowering them like, hey, what if I send you to some like courses? Is this something you want to learn more about? Or maybe that is their background. And that allows them also to partly work from home. Like it's a really cool way to keep a really great employee that you want. That's kind of what we did as an employee that had some background in that, but had kind of drifted away. So she was
a hygienist
and
a mom, and now she's our social media director.
And we're like, we don't want to lose you. What can we do?
Oh, that's amazing.
So we built a role for her that allows her to her strengths. You know, she knows marketing is what she does, but also obviously she's been in our office, so she knows dentistry too. So it's the coolest.
She knows our brand. She's incredible. But yeah, being open to that. And just as managing people, knowing everyone's strengths and weaknesses and being okay for them to not want to just be in this avenue all the time. Yeah.
I think, like to like kind of uncover, you know, everyone's talent and use them to their best ability, kind of let them know they have that transition piece. And like you said, I think a lot of people, that's where they have the hard part is knowing someone who knows your brand. Like you just said it, like that's like where you got to know, like at the end of the day, if you can't read every sentence, is it going to like come from my heart? Because that's where it's got to correlate. Because if that doesn't match up, any social media manager can do the job, but can they know your brand, your personality? So they kind of need to know, like she's been in your office. Like that's got to be so reassuring to go, okay, she knows what I would want my patients to understand and patients to feel as they come through. So that's really awesome. You guys gave that opportunity to someone to build. And I think a lot of other dentists hearing this might help them understand maybe if there is that hybrid position available or that transition available, maybe, you know, staying in-house is smart because they know your office best.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you both so much, Kimberly and Lauren, for joining me on Dental Tech Chat today. I know our audience are going to have so many really great pearls to grab out of our conversation on things you guys have been using and implementing. And I wish you all the best in Toothbar and for the future year to come for your guys' celebrations.
Well, thank you so much.
If you're ever in Austin, come visit. So,
we'd love to have you.
Awesome. And before you guys jump off, I was going to ask the last question is, where can our visitors come see you, say hi, if they have any questions to reach out to you guys? Like you said, in Texas, they're at Toothbar. Is there any email or social media link you guys could let us know to join you at?
I would go to our Instagram, thetoothbar.com.
Instagram's at the Toothbar. Yeah. And then, or website.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah. And then we have our emails and everything on there too. So hello@thetoothbar.com.
Well, you heard it here, everyone. If you need to reach out with any questions or want to hear about how they're implementing their services, check them out on the links down below. I'll have those all linked. And thank you again, Dr. Kimberly and Dr. Lauren. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Great chatting.
Thanks.
Thank you for supporting and listening to the Dental Tech Chat podcast. Please subscribe on YouTube and on podcasting platforms. Be sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the bell notification if you do not want to miss out on any new podcast episodes posted or any new videos on our YouTube channel. Of course, for all of our listeners, this is a YouTube episode, as all our podcast episodes are available on YouTube as well. If you prefer to watch along, go ahead and search for Sodium Dental on YouTube and you will see our Dental Tech Chat playlist. Thank you so much for watching and supporting our channel.